Hey friends, it is time to TBR. I got my new board and I would say I'm ready to go, but this is probably going to be a little bit chaotic because usually I make a stack of books beforehand and I'm not going to this time. So it's going to be a lot of like unclipping, reclipping if I'm in different spots. But I was filming and just got excited to get ready for November, even though I'm not like halfway done with October. Okay, so here's where we were kind of at last time. I had drawn 5 books. I'm ready for pull number 6. I'll give you a little bit of close-up each time so you can see some of the books that I have drawn. Yeah, that's where we're at. I said I was going to come up with a better way to do this, and I haven't. It feels a little unstable, but I think it's as good as it's going to get. Here is my first prompt. It says, you board a ship on your way to glory. Read a book with a water setting. Book number 1, I'm going to read Into the Still Blue by Veronica Rossi. What can I say about this book? This is book number 3 in a series. I read the first 2 around the time I was reading Hunger Games. However, I just never read the 3rd book, and you can probably imagine why. With the way Divergent, Maze Runner, and Hunger Games 3rd book went, I was a little bit hesitant. I still very distinctly remember book 1 and book 2 because I really enjoyed them. And I think I've reread book 1, but I never finished the series. I was just had a little bit of residual trauma from my dystopian days. So in book 1, we have a girl who is living in a city that's built kind of inside of a bubble because the outside world is deemed unsafe. And so most people, because they have to kind of stay in the confines of this bubble, live a lot of things virtually. And then a murder happens and she's kind of to blame, even though obviously she didn't do it. And so she's kicked out of this society and meets a group that has lived in the outside world their whole life. And they come together. There are people with abilities based on ether, which is why the world is so unsafe, because the ether comes in magical lightning storms. She's trying to get back, and there is somebody who promises to take her back, but is also trying to figure out where their nephew went. So I may end up skimming book 1 and 2, but this is the finale. One of their friends has been kidnapped for his ability that has to do with like controlling the ether. And so they are setting off at the end of book 2 to go rescue him. And they are setting off, they live in like caves, but the person who took him just took him on a boat onto the ocean headed toward a giant storm, like a huge ether storm. And so most of this is going to be them trying to rescue their friend on the ocean. Into the Still Blue, what it's called. It came out in 2014, and I bought it when it came out. So this poor book has had a long life on my shelf, and I'm going to read it. It's going to happen. All right, pull number 2 says, a riddle blocks your entrance. Find a book that starts with your initials. So a book that starts with E, D, or P, and I can choose classic, nonfiction, or standalone. All right, let me check my list of 200 books I should read. The only book I have left that starts with E, which I could have done a different letter, but I'm going to just jump into this book because that's how TBR games work. I am going to read East of Eden by John Steinbeck. It is 600 pages, so that means I'm probably not going to be drawing that many more books this round. This seems like a biblical retelling, which I did not know, but it says there are 2 families and they reenact the fall of Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel in California in the 1950s. I have heard people who like classics like this book. According to the 3 booktube people that I think I've heard talk about this, 600 pages for a classic seems a little daunting. I have read Atlas Shrugged, which I think was over 1,000 pages, but it also took me like 6 months. So hopefully this one will move a little bit faster than that. I think I'm going to draw another, but I'm a little bit nervous. I do have Thanksgiving break to do some reading. I don't know if I want to spend my break reading East of Eden. We'll see. Let's do one more. Okay, my last draw says you find a treasure box. Choose a 5-star prediction. I was excited about this at first, and then I realized I already have a big book on my list, so some of the ones I would have maybe chosen, I'm not going to choose. I'm still going to look around for something exciting. Fantasy is one of my options, so let's see what we got. 5-star prediction, I'm going to go with Rule by Ellen Goldlet. This has been on my shelves for a minute. I keep passing it up and I don't know why, but I feel like it could be 5 stars. It's a little bit shorter, so it feels manageable. And it is a Royals book, which I love a good Royals trope. I feel like some people feel like it's overdone, and I just can't ever get enough of it. So in this book, the premise is that the king is dying. His heir has been murdered, and he's trying to cover it up. So he's trying to find a new heir, and he summons 4 random girls who turn out to be his illegitimate daughters. He's going to choose one of them to name his heir. So hopefully there will be some competition, which would just make it even more of a 5-star prediction. Love a good competition, but I think the Royals trope alone will be enough to make this a highly rated book. It also has a really cool gold cover that is shimmery and fun. So I only have 2 books to hold up for you guys and a third East of Eden giant classic. I don't know. I mean, they're pretty, that's a lot of pages is how I'm feeling. But I'm also feeling like usually I hold up way more books. So I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. However, I've got at least 2 that I think I will enjoy. My book club group is reading The It Girl for October into November. And depending on when we meet with everything kind of happening, I may have another book club pick that I'll be reading. And if so, I'll put that on the Instagram as well, which I will try and link. I have not been doing that. So sorry, but I guess all 35 of you that watch this, I will try and link my Instagram for you should you want it. All you will see on there is cat pics and books, but I feel like that may be why you're here, so it should work. Anyway, I hope you have a great reading month, and I will see y'all later. Bye, friends.